What if everything you thought you knew about K-drama couples was about to change forever? A romance no one saw coming has just shaken the heart of the Korean entertainment world. Lee Dong-wook and Lee Sung-kyung are officially together. Secrets, subtle clues, and years of silent chemistry have finally exploded into the spotlight. What really happened behind the scenes? Let's uncover the full story together, right now. With red carpet revealed, the entertainment world was turned on its head this week as one of Korea's most unexpected yet mesmerizing love stories finally came to light. Lee Dong-wook, the heartthrob of generations, and Lee Sung-kyung, the dazzling model-turned-actress with an aura of elegance and spontaneity, confirmed that they are indeed in a romantic relationship. Fans had long speculated about a special connection between the two, but nothing could have prepared them for the sudden confirmation that came from both stars' agencies this past weekend. The revelation sparked immediate frenzy, joy, and even disbelief across social media and news outlets worldwide. The news didn't come from a tabloid leak or anonymous insider, it came straight from the source. Entertainment and Kyung by Starship issued a joint statement late Friday evening, sending a ripple of shock through the industry. After months of spending time together and building a special connection, Lee Dong-wook and Lee Sung-kyung have decided to move forward as a couple. The statement read, "Those simple words carried weight beyond measure. Two beloved stars, 2 decades of separate glittering careers, now intertwining in the most intimate of ways." Their story was never one of obvious clues or frequent public sightings, quite the contrary. This couple mastered the art of subtlety. Their romance bloomed quietly behind the scenes, away from flashing cameras and the watchful eyes of reporters. That's what makes this union all the more fascinating. They were colleagues in the same industry, admired each other's work from afar, but their paths rarely crossed on screen. And yet, beneath the surface of various industry events, fashion galas, and casual coffee shop encounters, something was building. Something real. It all began with whispers, a look held a second too long at a script reading, a comment during an interview that didn't quite match the topic, a shared smile on the red carpet at the 2023 Kyung Arts Awards that fans dissected for weeks. At the time, the idea of Lee Dong-wook and Lee Sung-kyung dating seemed like a fanfiction plotline, but perhaps the fiction was closer to truth than anyone realized. Their professional paths had skirted one another often. They were both titans in their own genres. Lee Dong-wook, the charismatic leading man of fantasy and thrillers; Lee Sung-kyung, the spirited star of heartfelt dramas and tear-inducing rom-coms. She was known for her carefree laughter and commanding presence, while he was respected for his calm demeanor and deep, thoughtful performances. To fans, they existed in separate universes. To them, it seems, those universes were slowly gravitating toward collision. One key moment stands out in retrospect. It was in late 2024, during a joint fashion campaign for a luxury brand. Lee Sung-kyung had replaced another actress at the last minute, and Lee Dong-wook had been signed on as the brand ambassador for the men's line. The concept was simple, timeless elegance and modern romance. The chemistry, however, was anything but simple. The photos from that shoot ignited discussion all over the internet. "They don't look like actors modeling," one commenter wrote at the time. "They look like lovers in a real relationship." At the time, it was just an observation. It feels like the first page of their love story. What followed was a string of subtle alignments. They appeared at similar locations, sometimes within days of each other. Began noticing overlapping Instagram posts, similar cafes, shared quotes, matching bracelets that were just barely visible in the background. But without any public acknowledgement, it all remained speculation. Then came the infamous sink incident. During a press interview in early 2025, Lee Sung-kyung was asked what qualities she admired in a man. Smiling coyly, she replied, "Someone who sees through the noise, who knows when to be quiet and when to say just one word that changes everything." When asked if she had someone in mind, laughed and accidentally spilled ink on her white blouse. "Maybe I do," she said, as the room erupted in laughter. But the smirk she gave, and the fact that she later tagged no one in her Instagram post, was a riddle fans couldn't stop decoding. Lee Dong-wook, for his part, remained as enigmatic as ever. Known for his guarded approach to private life, rarely indulged in interviews that probed beyond his career. Yet, during an appearance on a popular variety show earlier this year, he was asked if he had ever met someone who made him question everything he thought he knew about love. He paused for a long moment before replying, "Yes. But sometimes, you don't question it. You just feel it, and you protect it." That answer echoed in fan communities for weeks. Could he have meant Lee Sung-kyung? When the confirmation finally came, the internet went into overdrive. Twitter trended globally within minutes. Hashtags like #LeeLee couple and #Wook Kyung love topped platforms in both Korea and abroad. Fans reacted with a mix of emotions, overwhelming joy, shock, and in some cases, tears. These were not just actors, they were icons, and now, unexpectedly, a real-life couple. And what a couple they make! The 42-year-old Lee Dong-wook, ever graceful and mysteriously elegant, exudes the type of charm that only deepens with time. The 34-year-old Lee Sung-kyung, dynamic and radiant, holds her own as a leading force in both fashion and acting. Together, they are the personification of balance, yin and yang, soft and strong, quiet and expressive. A relationship defies expectations, not because it's unbelievable, but because it's so believably perfect. Behind the scenes, it's said the romance deepened after several private meetings organized by mutual friends. According to insiders close to both parties, it was Lee Sung-kyung's warm-hearted energy that drew Lee Dong-wook in. He, in turn, gave her the grounded sense of calm she'd been missing in a whirlwind career. They began texting casually about films and photography, then began having late-night conversations about music and life. Before long, they were spending weekends together at a secluded home outside of Seoul, away from the eyes of paparazzi and busy film schedules. Their bond was built slowly and carefully, brick by brick. Neither of them wanted something fleeting. Had experienced the chaos that fame brings to relationships. This time, they wanted something real. Fans marveled at the news. More pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. A stylist who had worked with both stars posted a now deleted tweet. "Some love stories are quiet but powerful. I've seen it. I've seen them." Another hint came from a cafe owner in Gyeongwon Province who shared that a celebrity couple had visited frequently during the winter months, always choosing the same corner table. Always ordering hot chocolate with cinnamon. They always held hands under the table, the owner wrote. Just two people in love, without any pretense. What makes this love story even more surprising is how well it was kept under wraps in a world where dating scandals leak daily and private lives are often dissected mercilessly. In this case, the media had no idea until the stars chose to speak for themselves. And they didn't do it lightly. According to sources from both agencies, the couple had long debates about whether to go public. In the end, it was a decision rooted in honesty. "We didn't want to lie anymore," a close friend quoted Lee Sung-kyung as saying. "We wanted to live truthfully, together. Share that joy with the people who have supported us all these years." That level of emotional maturity, of stepping forward not for publicity, but for clarity, is what sets this couple apart. There was no scandal, no forced apology, no dramatic reveal, just two people standing side by side, ready to face the world. Now, as fans brace for what this means for both of their careers and public personas, one thing is clear: this relationship isn't a PR stunt. It's a love story in its truest form. A quiet storm, long in the making. A shared glance that became a shared life. Perhaps most enduring of all is the fact that neither of them is trying to sell a fairy tale. There are no flashy declarations. No social media posts filled with staged couple photos. Just a gentle announcement, and a promise to continue their journey, on screen and off, while holding each other's hand. Part 2 of this article will explore what this means for their careers, their families, and the future possibilities that fans are already dreaming about, including a possible marriage announcement in 2026. The morning after the news broke, Lee Dong-wook and Lee Sung-kyung stepped out into the world no longer as individual stars navigating solitary careers, but as a couple, unified in purpose, and instantly elevated in the public imagination to something far more profound than two celebrities dating. They had become the embodiment of a modern fairy tale, one rooted not in fantasy, but in real-life timing, patience, and emotional courage. But with confirmation came questions. And the public wasn't shy in asking them. How did their families react? Were there signs of a long-term future together? Could this mean marriage, soon? In a rare gesture of openness, a friend close to Lee Dong-wook shared that his family was genuinely touched when he finally introduced Lee Sung-kyung during a quiet, private gathering in March. His mother smiled and held Sung-kyung's hand for a long time, the friend said. They talked for hours about books and classical music. It wasn't awkward at all. It felt like they already belonged in the same frame. Sung-kyung's father, known for his protective stance on his daughter's personal life, reportedly gave a silent nod of approval after meeting Dong-wook during a family dinner in Ilsan. He's grounded. Sincere. A good man, he said, according to a source close to the actress. He's happy, then I'm happy. It seems the most significant people in their lives saw what fans were just beginning to realize, that this wasn't just a spring fling or a high-profile romance meant to fade with the next news cycle. This was the kind of relationship that settles in like a quiet morning, full of warmth and certainty. One of the most unexpected supporters turned out to be actress Yoo In-na, Lee Dong-wook's longtime friend and Touch Your Heart co-star. She posted a story on Instagram just hours after the announcement, a black and white photo of 2 coffee cups and a caption that read, "Real ones find each other in silence. Proud of you." Fans were quick to read between the lines, interpreting the message as her blessing for the couple and an acknowledgement of how long this romance might have quietly brewed before the world caught on. As the frenzy surrounding their relationship continued, speculations quickly shifted toward the future. Would they get married? And if so, when? In a country where celebrity weddings are often tightly controlled affairs or extravagant media spectacles, the idea of a Lee wedding sent both fans and reporters into overdrive. Industry insiders weighed in, and rumors began swirling that a date might already be penciled in for early 2026, right after both actors finish their current filming commitments. One unverified but tantalizing report claimed that Lee Dong-wook had recently visited a private wedding venue in Jeju Island known for hosting intimate, secretive ceremonies. Neither star has commented on the marriage rumors directly, but during a brief fan interaction at a brand event, when asked about whether he believed in forever love, Lee Dong-wook gave a rare smile and said, "If you're lucky, you find it once." I think I've been lucky. As for Lee Sung-kyung, her Instagram post after the confirmation was a quiet poem. The wind didn't tell me where it was going. I followed it anyway, and it led me to peace. The caption was paired with an image of a shoreline sunset and a single pair of footprints. She didn't need to tag anyone. Everyone knew. Their colleagues have spoken with reverence and quiet excitement. A director who recently worked with Lee Sung-kyung revealed in an off-the-record interview, "You can always tell when someone's in love." Her eyes were softer this time. She smiled even between takes. She didn't say anything, but we all knew. Meanwhile, those who know Lee Dong-wook best say the change in him is subtle but profound. He's always been private, very internal. But lately, he's been more open, more at ease, said a staff member on the set of his recent drama. He talks about cooking at home, about sharing meals, about building something steady. Fans, the narrative unfolding before them isn't just one of celebrity romance. It's a story of hope. In an industry often clouded by rushed breakups, scandals, or the pressure to keep love hidden, Dong-wook and Lee Sung-kyung are modeling something different, a relationship not fueled by spectacle, but by sincerity. It's also worth noting how deeply their individual careers have continued to flourish, independently of one another. Dong-wook's critically acclaimed series Moonlight Boundary concluded with record-breaking international viewership, and his recent move into screenwriting has earned industry respect. Lee Sung-kyung, meanwhile, is set to lead a new Netflix original drama titled The Painter's Secret, where she plays a blind violinist in a historical love story. Neither has shown any sign of stepping back from their careers, nor should they. Instead, they're rewriting what it means to be a couple in Korean entertainment, where the idea of having both a thriving career and a loving, public relationship is often seen as mutually exclusive. They're showing that you can choose both, and you can do it with grace. That may be the most powerful part of their story. This isn't a tale of whirlwind passion or scandalous entanglement. It's a slow burn, A quiet companionship that deepened over time. It's the kind of love that doesn't need to shout to be heard, and yet, it's being heard around the world. International fans have been vocal in their support, flooding fan pages with messages of love and admiration. One fan from Thailand wrote, "They give me hope that real love can happen in real life. Even in a crazy industry." A Vietnamese fan page dedicated to Lee Kyung posted a digital painting of the couple walking under cherry blossoms, with the caption, "Finally. Spring they both deserve." In Japan, tabloids referred to them as the golden couple of Asia, while in the US, entertainment blogs have labeled their union the K-drama ending everyone wishes they had. But behind the glossy headlines and poetic reactions, there's something even more powerful at play: healing. Both actors have spoken before, in vague terms, about the loneliness that often comes with fame. Lee Dong-wook once said in an interview, "You go home, and there's silence. That's what people don't see. See lights, fans, success. But they don't see the silence." Maybe now, the silence is filled. If a wedding is in the cards, fans are already imagining it with a kind of protective excitement. Not because they need a grand ceremony, but because they want closure to a story that deserves a soft, beautiful ending. Or rather, a new beginning. Insiders suggest that should a wedding be announced, likely be a private affair, held somewhere close to nature, perhaps Jeju, or the quiet mountains of Gangwon-do, where both actors have spent time unwinding in the past. They're not the type to do a red carpet wedding, one stylist commented. They'll probably wear something simple, maybe barefoot in the grass. That's who they are. If the relationship continues on its current path, we might very well hear wedding bells in early 2026, with an official confirmation possibly dropping around the holidays this year. For now, fans are content just knowing that their favorite stars have found something precious. They've turned fiction into reality, in a fantasy, and made it flesh. Lee Dong-wook and Lee Sung-kyung are no longer just stars in parallel orbits, they're walking hand in hand under the same sky, in the same direction. And the world is watching with breath held, hearts full, waiting for the next chapter. Because sometimes, the most surprising love stories are the ones that bloom not in the spotlight, but in the quiet corners of the heart, where sincerity, trust, and timing align to create something that even fame cannot fake. And if you listen closely, you'll hear it, the quiet click of two hearts locking into place. Finally confirmed. And just